So I just finished watching the new documentary on Brady Ellison that World Archery released ahead of the Olympics. And I had a couple of thoughts that I wanted to share with you. So in this documentary, we follow Brady Ellison's journey as he steps through his career on the international circuit. And without a doubt, Brady has been one of the top performers in the world. And if you're having a discussion about the greatest archers ever, he's got to be part of that discussion. So let's lead with that. Now, in this documentary, we follow Brady's journey from, when he started his archery career through to where he is now, obviously in pursuit of gold in Tokyo 2021. Now, I found the documentary really interesting from a couple of perspectives. Now, first of all, in the documentary, we don't spend really any amount of time focusing on Brady's training, his technique, any drills or any physical training that he might undergo. And I liked this perspective because in archery, we actually spend a lot of time focusing on our technique, and we spend a lot of time drilling and training in the skill required to shoot a bow at a high level. However, the documentary takes a different angle. And this is my interpretation. Obviously, to be able to shoot at a high level, you need to have an advanced level of technique and an advanced level of skill. However, at the highest level, say the top 20 archers at any World Cup or World Championship event, they all have an advanced level of technique. They all have the skill and technical prowess to be able to perform at that level. So what separates them at that level? And it's the mindset. And that's what this documentary goes into. It kind of follows that the theme of the documentary is more about Brady's mindset, and that's how that sets him apart. And whilst we don't really go into any specific mental strategies, some positive affirmations and things are talked about in the movie, but we don't really go deep diving into that stuff. It's more a theme of the entire documentary talking about Brady's determination. And this is a really important point that it's worth touching on, because if you look at high performers in any discipline, not just archery, but if you look at the greats, if you look at the Muhammad Ali's, if you look at the Warren Buffett, of the business world, if you look at, the Conor McGregors, if you look at the Brady Ellisons, if you look at the Michael Jordans, those type of people, you'll notice they have a common theme. And that's that they have this level of expectation to win. They don't really accept anything less. And this is important to understand for a couple of reasons. First of all, most people would be happy winning, say, a national titles or a national championships, being the best in your country. And then most national level athletes would be happy to represent their country, to go overseas and to shoot at, say, a World Cup event. Most international archers would be happy to medal or win a World Cup event, wouldn't they? But what drives you to win a World Cup event and then continue to go back and push for more, winning all the World Cups, winning the World Cup finals? And most athletes would be happy to make an Olympic team and represent their country, and most Olympians would be happy to win a medal. But to go and win, say, a silver medal, and then for that not to be good enough, and then for that to motivate you to go back to the drawing board and drive yourself because that gold's still left on the table, you've still got something left to give. To perform at that elite level, the point is that you need to have this just unstoppable drive, almost insatiable drive, to the point where nothing's really good enough. And that comes through really clearly listening to Brady talk in the documentary. He talks about that there's just unstoppable drive to sort of be the best that he can be. And so as a coach myself, this leaves me with a really interesting question, because if you are striving for performance at the highest level, and if to make it to that highest level, you need this unstoppable drive, just that is almost insatiable, so that even if you win something, you want more and more and more, that's going to lead you to performing it and staying at the top of your game. How do you teach that? Even can it be taught? Or is it just up to the individual? And do some people just have this, this hunger, this drive that is insatiable and is going to drive them to succeed no matter what? What do you think? My experience is no. My experience is no, you cannot teach someone to have that hunger, to have that drive. However, you can coax it out if it exists, if it's kind of there. And I think that motivation and drive comes on a spectrum depending on the person. So for some people, their drive and their motivation is like a wet rag. And no matter what you do to try and ignite that wet rag and spark a fire and a flame in that person, it's not going to happen. And then some people, you know, they have their motivation might be like a pile of sticks. And yeah, you might need to dry it out, you might need to rearrange it, you might need to rub sticks together for a few hours to get it going. But once it's going, you know, you can foster that flame, and you can add to it, and you can grow it over time. And then there's other people where their motivation is just like a powder keg, and it just needs the smallest spark to set it off. And if you stand too close to that with a magnifying glass, you're going to get blown away by these people. And I think Brady is one of these people. So I'm really interested in your thoughts on this. What's your experience? Do you think that this level of drive can be taught? And if you agree with me, what do you think is the best way? How can you coax it out of someone? What are the methods that you can do to try and foster that flame in people who have the right ingredients? And I would love for you to share that with me. And if you haven't checked out the documentary called Believe on Brady Ellison, it's on the World Archery YouTube channel, then you should definitely go check it out. It's worth a watch. Thanks for joining me, team. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. And yeah, hope to see you on the range very soon.